Well, welcome everyone to AllPro Virtual Networking. This is the place to come and network where you can be in Germany, you can be in Canada, you can be in your car, it does not matter. And we are just as efficient, we make just as great connections as we do face-to-face, but we just make it a little bit more efficient. So first thing I want to point out to you is during our time together, we highly encourage you to use the chat feature in Zoom. Some people have already gone in there. Please introduce yourself. You can share whatever you would like, however you prefer to be connected with or communicated with. Put that in there. Share your website. You can also share specific things that you're looking for. We'll also talk about events. So please use the chat throughout and be able to, you can chat with one another throughout the time together also. So we run for about 40 minutes and the format is we're gonna go around, we're gonna do introductions. I will call people out to introduce themselves based on their presence in the chat. For those of you that are driving, if you don't have time to go in the chat, I'll make sure that you get your time to introduce yourself as well. Then we have a fabulous speaker. Hannah is here with the Colorado Enterprise Fund. She is going to be sharing with us about really important things all of us entrepreneurs need to know about funding. And then we will have time for questions and conversation, and then we'll share any upcoming events. And then we will close up and move on with the rest of our day. So let's see. So first person, Stephanie, go ahead and introduce yourself.
She's not Grace.
Hi. My name is Stephanie OBrien. I'm a fiction author, comic artist, video editor, marketing coach, and copywriter. I've published 4 books through Amazon's Kindle, and I help business owners to attract more clients by helping them to figure out what they need and what marketing materials they need and what to say in those materials. And I write those materials for them, so they don't have to spend their time on that. If you want to learn more about my books, my website is www.stephanieobrienbooks.com. If you want to learn more about my marketing services, that's coachclientconnection.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you.
You bet. And I am Katie Myers. I am the CEO of CR Conversations, and I help entrepreneurs avoid the entrepreneurial F word, failure, in their sales conversations. So I guide them through their sales process, their follow-up strategy, customer retention, and customer selling so that they only have one responsibility in their sales relationship, which is to educate and to guide. So I just revamped my website, so please go and check out crconversations.com, and I would love to connect with you all and learn more about you. All right, Jill.
I'm Jill Weishart, and I do 2 things. The first thing is I'm the managing director of bized.com, which is a peer-to-peer community to have someone that you can talk to for your micro business or small business. It's a daily or weekly accountability partner. I also work with my husband on something called 3% Leads, which is a new guaranteed human lead gen product that maybe I'll be selling to BMW, that we are selling to companies large and small around the world. And I'm also sending you all the places I'm going to be in the next couple weeks besides Germany. So you guys can look, hopefully, if you're in one of those places, I can see you there because I've got several conferences that I'm going to be at in Denver and Las Vegas starting next week.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jill. Thank you for your dedication and being here at
10
o'clock at night
o'clock.
drinking a glass of wine. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Adam.
Adam Kemper with Employer Essentials. Cheers, Jill. Mine's water, but so I'm Adam with Employer Essentials. We do payroll, staffing, and HR. This is my friend Harris. He's the representation of the monkey on the back of the business owner. Often I like to share stories of those who I'm getting to help. That's the best way to explain what I do. This week I've been working with an animal-based pet business who unfortunately, due to some overextension of their business assets, has found themselves in a pretty tough position. So beyond, payroll, which is what opened the door, we're actually helping them build some strategies around rebuilding the systems in their operations and management so that they can get a better control on their business and rebuild before it hits the wall. So it's a lot more than just payroll. It's looking at that whole operation suite, figuring out where money isn't working and helping them to run a better business so they can run that business and have a life. Let them be on the beach instead of Harris.
Love it. Thanks, Adam.
Absolutely.
Dave.
Hello, I'm Dave Kramer from AllProWebTools, the all-in-one encompassing solution of software for your small business. Everything in one place. So you have your email marketing, you have your CRM, you have your e-commerce, your website, everything in one place. If you'd like to get started or try out our free demo, you can go to allprowebtools.com and click Get Started.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave. And Hannah.
My name is Hannah. I'm a loan officer with the Colorado Enterprise Fund. We're a nonprofit small business lender, and I'll save the whole spiel for a little bit later. We are essentially help small businesses obtain financing when they're unable to go to the bank, and we also provide some consulting services. But I'll save the rest for our actual presentation.
Awesome. Thanks, Hannah. We're glad you're here. Yeah. All right, Dru from Oregon.
Hey,
you
guys.
Made it.
Yes, I have made it to Oregon. Excited to be here. Excited to get things rolling here. And excited. Boy, we have people all over the world here today. That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Dru Shockley, like Jill, I do a couple of things. The first is Call to Action Alliance. It's web development that digs into business passions and makes sure that they are working for you and distinguishing you from your competition and creating unique opportunities with your prospects. And like Dave, who has a dance like this, my dance for that is Passion Ignites Action.
Woohoo!
The other thing is Boost Biz Ed, which is a weekly free actionable business education workshop that is running in 2 locations in Denver, virtually every Wednesday. It's also on Facebook Live. I'm here in Oregon to spread that mission here as well, and looking for other opportunities where those who want to attract leads rather than chase them by offering their business community consistent value through speakers that offer great actionable business education. So that can be found at boostbized.com. And I don't have a dance for that one yet.
I can't wait to see what that one looks like, though.
Dru, I got to ask you, did you drive or fly to Oregon?
I flew this time. I still have a bunch of stuff back in Denver that I'll come back for at some point, but I flew this time. How was your drive?
I don't recommend it.
That was a long drive.
We did 1,900 miles in 2 days. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but yeah, I don't want to do it again.
Wow.
Dave, we may be doing it sooner than planned, so don't be surprised if you see Rex and I.
All right, I look forward to it.
Yeah, his mom is not doing well, and so I may be going from here to Florida.
Let me know.
Yep.
Oh, see, friends in all places. All right, Andrew.
Hi guys, so I'm Andrew with NationSearch Background Screening. We do background screening for large, medium, and small businesses. And then I wanted to say to Stephanie, I apologize for coming in and interrupting your introduction earlier. I thought I had a look at the time, and then I didn't. So my apologies for that.
I'm sure with time and therapy, I'll come to forgive you.
I'm sure there's some good therapists in this network. We look for helping HR people in these businesses that we work with, and then we also work very well with HR companies. So that's about it. Just do background screening.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew. And don't forget to introduce yourself in the chat also. Awesome. And our newest guest, Ron.
Oh, I'm not on mute. It took me off. I appreciate that. How y'all doing? My name is Ronald Gibson, and I am here in Central Florida, United States. And I am with a business called Life Leadership. We do financial, professional, and personal development. We help individuals and businesses or corporations become the very best they possibly can. We are looking to promote financial literacy, professional management development and training, and personal growth and development in a wide variety of areas. So I'll put my info in the chat, the web page, and how you guys can get in touch with me or how we can link up. I'm making notes, so please say everything nice and clearly so I can search all y'all out and all this other stuff later. So
You got it.
thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for the invite from Mr. Dave up here from meeting him earlier. He's a great guy, so I appreciate it.
It's a good group. I think you're going to enjoy it.
Yes.
Thank you. I
Pleasure
appreciate
meeting
it. Pleasure's mine, sir.
All right. I think we got everybody for introductions. So Dave, do you want to introduce our speaker?
Yes. So next up, we have Hannah from the Colorado Enterprise Fund. And this is a company that really kind of rescued me a few years back. We were trying to expand and grow, and we needed some capital to do that. And because we're a software company, we didn't have any tangible assets that a typical loan would have worked with. And it was just amazing working with them over there. They were able to be very creative and help us out in getting some financing. And so later on, I had a client who had a similar problem, and I introduced them, and they were able to help them out as well. So I thought that this would be a really good opportunity to introduce this concept of lending to this group to see if anybody could use that type of service. So with that, we're going to turn it over to Hannah. She's got a PowerPoint presentation she wants to show us.
Yeah,
So,
and I'll probably skip through it pretty quickly. Just
okay.
so as not to bore you all.
So just click that share screen button at the bottom. There you go. And you're off and running.
All right. So I work for an organization called the Colorado Enterprise Fund, and when we're based in Colorado, and we do service the whole state of Colorado, but that is it. So for those of you who are out of state, one thing that I would recommend is we're what's known as a Community Development Financial Institution, or a CDFI. And that is a designation that was given to us by the U.S. Department of Treasury, and there are CDFIs in every single state in the country. And so if you were to go on the website for the Small Business Administration, you'd be able to find the local organizations that would be similar to us in your area. So I'll start with that. So we are I mentioned a nonprofit small business lender, and so we specialize in helping business owners that are unable to obtain bank financing. And there's a lot of reasons why that might be. Dave mentioned he's in a software-based business. Service-based businesses have this issue too, where there aren't a lot of tangible hard assets to secure a loan. It could be that you're a startup business. It could be that maybe you have some personal past credit issues. There are lots of reasons why banks are unable or unwilling to extend credit, and that's where organizations like ours come into the mix. So that's a little bit about us. We're about 50% sustainable, and the rest comes from a mix of public and private funding. Our main funder is the Small Business Administration. So we help businesses in a lot of different industries. There's really only a couple of industries we cannot help. The marijuana industry is one for the Colorado businesses, and that's because it's still federally illegal. And then we can't help other financial institutions. So if you're looking to open up your own lending institution or VC firm, that's not our wheelhouse, so we're not going to be able to help in that area. And then the last big one is fix and flips. Beyond that, though, we can help other nonprofits. We can help breweries, liquor stores, delis, food trucks. I mean, you name it, we can do it. Our loans range from $1,000 up to $500,000, term loans and lines of credit. Dave mentioned we try to be as flexible as we can with those terms and the collateral. And our interest rates are going to be more expensive than a bank. Any CDFI, that's going to be the case. And the biggest reason is that we're taking the risk on the loans that the banks are unwilling to do. And a second reason is that banks, one of the reasons I didn't mention for why a bank may not be willing to extend you credit is because you're not asking for enough money. After a certain point of dollar amount, it costs, for example, it costs the same to produce a $1,000 loan as it does to produce a $100,000 loan. So it doesn't make it worth the bank's time to do the smaller loans. So because of that, our interest rates are going to be a little bit more expensive. We do have a handful of different programs that we try to utilize to give interest rate reductions or maybe collateral reductions. Anything that we have in our toolkit we'll use to help make things a little bit easier. So, and our loans can be used for whatever your business needs, as long as you're not paying back owed taxes and you're not paying your own you're not paying yourself with our loan, you're fine. You can pay your employees, you just can't pay yourself, because we view that as like a personal loan. And so this would be, I think, the most important thing to review with you guys. When you are going to a lender or a lending institution, these are some of the things that we're all going to be looking at. We're going to look at, you're an existing business, first and foremost, the business and financials. And then we're also going to look at your personal financials, because we want to make sure that, let's say the business hasn't quite, maybe you haven't broken even yet, maybe you've had a tough year and the business itself can't afford the new debt payment. We're going to look at, what do you have coming into your household, both in income and expenses, because the last thing we want to do is put someone in a situation where they're underwater before they even get started. We do look at personal credit, but again, we can help, people who have bankruptcies on their credit, tax liens, items in collections. We're pretty flexible on all those things. We're really looking for the trended history rather than the score itself. So, if you had a bankruptcy 5 years ago, that's already been discharged and you have perfect credit from then, we're fine. But if you have had ongoing issues making your mortgage payment, and the most recent of which was last month, that's going to be an issue. It kind of just is, what is your situation? And then this is especially important for certain industries. We want to understand what your experience and your background is and why you decided to go into business for yourself. Restaurants are a really good example in that if you don't have experience at least working in a restaurant, I'm not going to give you money to open up a restaurant. Just because that industry in and of itself is inherently risky, and the margins are really small, and we really want someone who understands the front of house, the back of house. And if you've never worked in a restaurant, you just don't have that firsthand experience. So we want to understand your background, and then personal investment. So this is less important for existing businesses unless you're trying to expand. We want to understand what you're putting into the business. And if you have started and you've already used a lot of your own money, and then you're coming to a lender to get the additional funding that you need, my suggestion would be to track everything that you've spent so that you can get credit for what you've already invested into the business. Collaterals, again, just what is available to secure the loan. We look at business assets as well as some personal assets, and then we do require personal guarantees on our loans, and that is industry standard. Banks are going to make you do that. Other CDFI lenders are going to make you do that as well. And then we can always look at adding a cosigner if, for whatever reason, the loan is kind of just not quite there, and we just need a little bit more support to get it qualified. And then our organization, one of the biggest benefits I think that we offer is, once we've closed a loan, we offer business consulting services. And our consultants can help with everything from financial literacy to legal support to just strategic planning for the next 3 to 5 years on where you want to grow your business. And so that is my contact information. I'll make sure that you guys have that available. Our website, for those of you who are not in Colorado, our website does have a really good resource page that would be worth looking at just to see what's in your area, because there are a lot of nationally based government funded resources that have free services for small business entrepreneurs. So that's my presentation. I tried not to get into too into the weeds, because if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to dig into anything a little bit more.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Hannah. That's really, really helpful. Adam had made a comment during the chat. Adam, do you want to share about that just a little bit? Because I agree with your statement when you said, when it comes to lending, I appreciate when lenders understand the story, background, and why that matters.
Absolutely. I see it with some of the smaller businesses where it's like you said, it's, I'm take a plumber who worked for a company for 20 years and is a master plumber, and they decided to go out on their own, and they've kind of half-weighted under an entity for a couple of years, but now they've got a chance to sign a contract with some major developer that's going to make their business go, and they can't get lending because they don't meet certain metrics. But when you look at the rest of the facts of it, the story, the background, the why, yeah, they pay a higher interest rate. If they could just get the dang loan, they'd be happy. So I do appreciate hearing that, because it does make a difference.
Oh, absolutely. And it also, I mean, I don't want to get too into the weeds of the predatory lenders, because we're seeing kind of a crop up of those these days. But that's a big difference is they don't ask about that. They just want to see what your bank deposits look like. They don't care about the story or why you went out on your own. And for a lot of people, it's not a small decision to go out into business on their own. It took a lot of time, a lot of courage, and understanding that story helps us. And a lot of the time for us, if a loan is kind of on the edge, that background, that story, your character, whatever, if your business has a social mission, that weighs really heavily to your benefit for us wanting to work with you, because we do have those kind of back-end support services. So if you're on the edge, but we really like you and we like your story, then we're going to work really hard to try and do what we can.
That's something else that I really appreciate about what you're doing there, Hannah, is with those extra services that you offer, it's not just funding, but it's counseling and coaching, right? So yeah. I think you and I talked earlier, really the goal of the Colorado Enterprise Fund is to further business and to help businesses to be successful.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how a lot of other lending institutions look at it. It's more of an interest rate and a transactional type thing.
Right. Well, and I mean, our industry, I took a few classes on this in school. You know, small businesses are what save economies. It's what build economies, and that's why Colorado specifically weathered the Great Recession fairly well, because we have a really big small business environment here. And when you support small businesses, you're not just supporting the business owner themselves, but you're supporting the community at large. And so CDFIs in particular have social missions, and that's what they are focused on. So those are, you know, we're a little bit more expensive, and you know, if what you really need is the lowest interest rate possible and you can qualify for a bank loan, you should go to your bank. But CDFIs, you know, we really are trying to make sure that we're supporting the small business owners. And there are a ton of other resources I should mention. For those of you who are bankable, there are a lot of consulting resources that are free, that are sponsored by the SBA through the Small Business Development Center network. Those are, again, in every state, and they'll do free one-on-one consulting and anything from business planning help to, you know, you run into an issue in your business, you don't know how to address it or what you should do.
So can we talk about that a little bit, the business planning? We mentioned that there's kind of an onboarding process, so you look at more than just financials, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so if you're a newer business, and even existing businesses, if you are expanding or you're asking for a really large sum of money, we're gonna ask to look at your business plan. And a lot of people don't do formal business plans because, you know, they've worked in this industry their whole career and they know how it works, and so they just went out on their own. I would really encourage everyone to create a business plan and then update it periodically, because your plans for your business change. And I think one of the things that I see is it's so easy to get wrapped up in working in the business every day, and it's easy to forget to work on your business. And one of the biggest things for you to be successful is to be proactive rather than reactionary. So you have set a path for what you want to see and how you want to go, and you know, you work towards that.
Are there any other activities that you would recommend that small business owners pursue to be successful?
Yes, I would say definitely keep reliable financials. And I understand not everybody is, you know, kind of has that financial mindset. So if you don't understand it, make sure you have someone in your organization or in your wheelhouse or, you know, your community that can help you with that, because I've seen business owners who've been in business for 20 years and they have no idea where their business, if it's making money or if it's losing money or where they're at. And I mean, reliable financials will be able to help you understand. They all tell a story, and it'll help you be able to track what you're doing right, what needs improvement. And I would also say, you know, be willing to adapt and change. You know, you have those financials to tell you that story, but then what you do with it is important as well. And don't be afraid to ask for help and get advice and opinions, because the business owners that succeed are the ones who are open to learning more, are open to advice, And the ones that really struggle are the ones who are like, I know what my business is, I am right, you are wrong, and like.
Well said.
Right.
I've met those people.
Yes, I think we all have. We all have. So Hannah, I have a question for you. So I know that this is a struggle that a lot of the clients that I have, and even myself, has tried to battle with before, is how do you know the right amount of money to ask for? So because you don't want to get too small of a loan, but you also don't want to get too big of a loan that is more than what you need. So I'm sure that that's part of your planning process, but how do people kind of start to wrap their mind around, okay, what do I need it for, and how much should I actually ask for?
I mean, that is a huge thing that we talk with our clients with every day, because people always come in high. They always say, I need $500,000.
Right.
Okay, well, what for? I think that's the most important question. What do you need the money for? If it is something very specific, like I need this piece of equipment, then that's easy. You know exactly what you need. But you also want to give yourself, I think we always say, you want to give yourself like a 10% buffer for just general working capital expenses. So you're always going to have, if you know that you want to update your website and you know how much that costs, and you want to do some marketing campaign, you know how much that costs. You want to hire, you want 3 months of rent payments in a loan, whatever that all totals to, add 10% just for things that come up. Because that's our goal too, is it's a big problem that we don't want to underfund someone, because when you do that, you're setting them up to fail as well. And you don't want to have to be in a situation where you just got funding and then now you're like, oh crap, I need fast cash. And you go to one of these lenders that can get you money really quickly, but they just kill your business. Right. And so that also, I would just note, about being proactive versus reactionary. Start the whole lending process early, because especially depending on how much you need, if you're going to be going through an SBA program, those loans take quite a bit of time. And like this is fairly industry standard, unless you go to an SBA preferred lender, which would be a bank that the SBA has said, you are a preferred lender, you can make SBA loans without getting our approval. Mm-hmm. And CDFIs, we don't have that designation, so we have to go through the SBA. It's a 3-month minimum process. And I say minimum very heavily, because if you're switching locations and you need to do build out and there's a letter of intent, lease agreement, those types of situations can drag it out for 6 months to 9 months to a year, depending on what your situation looks like. So talk to someone early. And you might be, and I talk to people all the time who I'm like, you know what, you're not quite ready for financing yet. Here's what you should go do, and then come back and let's talk. Because it never hurts to ask.
Awesome. Very, very good. That's fantastic. Does anybody else have any other questions for Hannah? Hannah, you've been very helpful. Thank you so much for all that information. I think all of us definitely have taken something away from it, for sure. So anybody else have anything for her?
Looks like Dru has a question.
Dru. Okay, sorry, Dru, you weren't down on my screen yet. I hadn't seen you. Couldn't see you waving at the bottom of my screen.
Quick question. Hannah, can you loan to anyone across the country?
No, so our organization, you have to be a Colorado-based business. But we work with, there's a whole network of CDFIs that are in every state throughout the country. So you're in Florida, right?
I am in Oregon.
Oregon, sorry. I can send Dave a list of, or a link that'll show the CDFIs in Oregon.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And Dru, it looked like you had a referral for Hannah as well. Is that the same thing you were thinking?
No, it's a little different. Just a guy I know back in Denver that I think would be a good connection.
Okay. We'll let you guys chat about that in the chat. Hannah, can you tell us, what is your favorite success story from working at the Colorado Enterprise Fund?
So there's been a lot of good ones. But my favorite one is this company that I have been involved in their kind of journey from more or less the very beginning. They're a company called Naughty Tie, and they manufacture and produce custom-made, handmade men's neckties and bow ties. They've recently broken into the infinity scarf world as well. But the reason I love them so much is that they when they first came to us, they came for a $10,000 loan for a piece of equipment. And they were working out of this like 100 square foot workshop with no windows and 4 guys and just like slaving away at their sewing machines. And then and it's been, I think, 3 or 4 years. In that time, they've moved locations 4 times, and now they occupy a whole building. Our last loan was for $100,000. It helped them do the tenant improvements on that building to allow them to help them buy big pieces of machinery, tenant improvements. So I love their story for a couple of reasons. One, it's been amazing to watch them grow from where they were to where they are now. They have like 20 full-time employees now, and they have benefits. They offer the whole package. But also, their story, I mean, it's veteran owned, and they had a social mission where they wanted to hire refugee employees. And that was really important for them from day one. So they made it a part of their like business culture, and they just ran with it. And now they're looking at investors. Well, they have at least one investor. They're looking to be bought out. And actually, during the campaign trail, Hillary Clinton did a stop at their workshop to kind of do a photo op with them.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they've done really well at marketing themselves as well. And that was one thing that I noticed them as compared to some of the other businesses we work with. Anytime we ask them to come to an event with us or for us, they always say yes. They've never said no to any offer. They're always saying yes to everyone, not just us, because the more exposure they get, the better.
Fantastic. That's a great success story. We appreciate that, and I love that you can tell that you're passionate about them as a client too. So you really do care about the successes and the people that you're helping. So yeah. We appreciate that.
And those of you who are in Colorado, they're off of Santa Fe downtown. So on Santa Fe art walks, yeah, they're really involved in that as well. So I've gone down and hung out with them, had some beers, and they're just really great people, and I'm really happy to support them in that way and watch them. I almost feel like it's my business. Is why I love it so much.
That's awesome. Very cool. All right. Anyone else? Let me scroll down and see if I see hands this time. Good. Okay. Well, Hannah, thank you again for being here and for sharing with us. We sure appreciate it. And it looks like there's going to be a lot of good questions that are going to be coming your way. And we appreciate the resources that you'll share with us too.
Yeah.
So we'll take the last couple of minutes here. Does anybody have any events that they would like to share with us? Anyone? Dru, do you want to share upcoming events at all? I know it takes you a minute to find them. Does anybody else have any other events while Dru is searching? Anyone have anything upcoming? Adam?
We've got, I don't know if you saw it, I saw Jill posted on it as well, the free Small Business Expo here in Denver is coming up. There's a link online for that. It is free for the basic ticket. So it sounds like Jill and I will be down there. So maybe we connect as a group and maybe walk the room together if other folks are going. If you're in Denver and up, what's that?
It's also going to be at this very same time. So if you guys want to be live at the event,
I'm gonna do it live.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. We don't have to miss this event to be there. That's the nature of the beast here.
That's right.
And then if you're here in Denver and into golf, the 20th, the third Tuesday of each month, I'm part of a group called Corporate Tee Box, and we do golf events. This month is Fossil Trace. If you are interested, I'll put the link to register in the comments. It's business executives, decision makers in a non-pressure sales environment to have a little fun and play a little golf.
Awesome. Thanks, Dru. Or thanks, Dru. You're not Dru. Thanks.
No, that's okay.
Thanks, Adam. I was looking at Dru. Dru, are you ready?
I'm ready now.
Do it.
All right. Next to Boost Biz Ed events. Next week, Laura Pensatencio will be in Denver talking about publish a book and quadruple your business. The week after that, on Wednesday the 28th, Glenn Bott will be speaking about successful solopreneur tactics. That's at the Da Vinci Institute in Westminster. All this information can be found at boostbized.com.
Awesome. Thank you. And I would like to share, I've got my monthly conversation training that happens the last Tuesday of every month via Zoom. It's $25 to attend. This month we are talking about how to identify your ideal client. So if you or clients of yours are struggling with why their connections aren't happening, why networking isn't going super great, and why their sales aren't converting, have them join my virtual training. No-brainer pricing, open to everyone, and they can either join live or they can purchase the recording for later. And I put the info in the chat. So there's that. All right, anyone else? All good? All right, awesome. Next month, we have John Block, who is with Speaker Ventures. He is going to be talking to us about how to get more clients from presenting, whether that's in a small group or from a large stage. Very dynamic guy. I'm excited to have him come on board. And just once again, Hannah, thank you. We appreciate your time and for sharing with us and your resourcefulness. And we're just really glad to know you. So thank you for coming.
No,
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Hannah.
Thank you very much for the great information.
Great information.
Yeah.
Appreciate
So,
your insight, Lord.
the official part of our meeting is done. We'll leave the chat open for another few minutes or so. So if you want to connect, go ahead and do so. But if you need to take off, we're officially done. So thank you for joining us.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I got to go get into my AllProWebTools account and set up a website for a client, so I better go fly.
Nice.
See you later.
See you, Stephanie.
That's what's up. And y'all, please don't get distracted by the Daniel Tiger's neighborhood that's playing in the background. I got my little fella over there, so y'all can stay focused with me through that. It will be
Awesome.
good. That's what I've been getting up for. He's been kind of talking to me and stuff, so
That's funny.
not
That's
to be
awesome.
impolite.
It's summer break everywhere. We all
Right.
have that stuff.
Yeah, man.
It's great with this technology.